I want to thank you guys for taking the time and coming on board with this class that I'm doing, this free training. And basically, the reason why I wanted to do it, I'm going to get into that in a second. And just a couple housekeeping tips. I do like to use the chat bar, so I'm going to probably ask you guys some questions, and just for you guys to click in and type in as fast as you possibly can. And just very short answers, because I've got this chat bar here, but obviously there's a lot more of you than there are of me, and I just want to make sure that I can get through your answers, and we can kind of keep rolling through this thing. My idea for this is we're going to go, and as long as it takes to answer any of your questions or all of your questions you might have. My bedtime's 10 o'clock, so we've got till then if you want, or we can just go further. I can stay up late tonight. It's not a big deal. But I want to what I want to start with is I want to introduce you. These are the 7 steps of why of personal growth of owning your business before it owns you. And I came up with this because these are things that actually helped me through my journey as a business owner. And so basically what I want to do is I want to take you through this journey about what allowed me to become a better business owner and get to where we are today. But in order to do that, a lot of you may or may not know who I am, or doesn't really matter, but I'm going to explain to you a little bit about my story and a little bit about why I wanted to do this and why it's so important that you guys do this. I have been monitoring the I'm a member of Shop Fix Academy. I've been since 2017. I'm actually a coach for them. I've been coaching for 2.5 years. My clients, I coach, we average about $64 million in revenue, just my tribe, just my clients between all those that I coach. I have 6 stores in Northwest Indiana, and we're on track to do almost $10 million in revenue this year. I have 30 some employees, almost 40 employees, and all my stores are around 6 miles apart from each other. But the story didn't start there. It's kind of ending there. So just to give you guys a little bit of background on me, I was a General Motors technician for 15 years. And like many of you, I got tired of working for the man, and I thought I could do a better job. And I actually tried selling real estate and getting out of the car business, but that didn't work out. So the next best bet for myself was to purchase a shop to get out of the dealership. So my wife and I found a failing existing business. We took out all the money that we had in our home, all the equity. We took it all out to purchase this failing business, and we paid $65,000 for it. And I had 1 employee, and I was working, from dusk to dawn in the middle of the night whenever I had to, kind of keep food on the table, keep the bills going. At the time I had a 5-month-old daughter and a 2.5-month-old daughter at home, and my wife was a school teacher. And, it was her income that basically saved us from failure over the course of the years. So we've been in business now 17 years, and next month we'll be celebrating our 17th year in business. And basically, can you please mute your phone, Andy? This next month we'll be celebrating our 17th year in business, and what's transpired since then has been unimaginable for us and for our family. So basically what happened was in 2007, when we opened up, we had this little company going. We changed the name, and I was a technician. I had no business experience at all. Fast forward, let's just cut to the chase. For 10 years, suffered. I tried to grow. I stuck. I put my family through hell. I did all the things that many of you guys are doing today. I've done all the things that that you don't want to do. And it had been a very trying experience for us. In 2016, I got so fed up with the business, I actually left the business.
Yeah, no telling lies.
I had please mute your phones. In 2016, I had 2 technicians and a service advisor running the shop, and I was done. I was burned out. I actually left my shop. to go work for a Chrysler dealership as an operations manager. And it's not something I was proud of, but I didn't know what else to do. I was stuck. My family didn't want anything to do with me. My kids didn't want anything to do with me. I was a horrible father. I was a horrible business owner. I was a horrible leader. Everything that you can imagine. I was just doing everything wrong. So I felt if I ran away from the business, that the business would survive and actually thrive without me. And if I could bring home a decent paycheck, that my family would be happy, that I would satisfy them. And it was all farthest from the truth. So I stayed in the dealership scene for about a year. And, my wife and I had this talk at the end of 2016, and she says, well, you have to either go and fix your store or we have to file bankruptcy on it. And we have to start from scratch. Well, I have a lot of issues with that because when I was a kid, my parents did that, and I would never wish that on anyone. And so that was just a non-issue for me. So 2017, I started getting looking for business training. I started looking to try to see how I could become a better business owner, and not a better technician necessarily. I was still working in the back. I was still writing service. I would go to work at 3 a.m, come home at 7 a.m, help get my kids to school, take them to school, go back to work, come back home, eat dinner, put the kids to bed, and go back to work. I did all those hours, and there wasn't a day that it was gratifying for me. It was survival. I was in survival mode. So August of 2017 comes around, and I'm scrolling through Facebook like many of you are, and I come across Aaron Stokes, and I call him up, and I said, yeah, I said, sign me up. I need some training. I need some business training. And he's like, all right. So I was actually number 59 that actually joined his group, and I have been in it ever since. Now, the point of me telling you that is not the fact that I've been in it ever since. The point of me telling you that is because I got to a certain point in that, and even in the coaching group, where I got stuck and I started to self-sabotage everything that I had built up and kind of falling backwards. And we're going to get into all of that in a little bit, but I just want to explain to you a little bit about my background and why we're doing this course for you guys. And so 2017, like I said, came around. I was able to pay off $60,000 in debt in 90 days, working with Aaron and going through the training. Then after that, we were doing like 600,000 a year. 2018, first full year, we did $1 million in revenue on a 3-bay shop. 2019, we did about 1.2. And then 2020 was when I opened up my second shop, January 6th of 2020. And then we all know what happened then. COVID came. So COVID set us back for a few months, but we still managed to get through it okay. What we did was we actually started giving more, started giving oil changes to the first responders. We were giving lunches away. We didn't have the money, but no one was helping us. We didn't really ask for it, but we were funding this all on our own. And so it actually helped our relationship with the community. The people that weren't affected, their paychecks weren't affected by COVID, were showing up and, referring people to us left and right. So it was a really good win for us, for our community. We were able to overcome COVID because I know a lot of people didn't. But the idea behind that is that we had to think out of the box. During COVID and through several years of suffering through business, I would come home and go in the bedroom and shut the blinds down and just go to sleep. I was suffering through a lot of depression, and I was not happy, and I knew my wife and my kids were not happy, and so I had to do something that was going to huge change in my life. So sorry guys, I just keep having to mute people because they can't do it by themselves. So with that being said, I have gone through pretty much I don't know, maybe a lot of the things you guys have been going through, but I've also been monitoring a lot of these pages on Facebook and in our groups and things like that. And there's a lot of you guys that are suffering out there. There's a lot of you guys that are stuck. There's a lot of you shop owners that are having trouble and you don't know what to do. This is not this class that I wanted to do is something that I'm doing personally for you guys to give back to you guys, because I want you guys to get the knowledge and to understand what it's going to take for you to get out of this rut, for what it's going to take for you to get out of whatever position that you might be in. It might be a negative one, and get into a position of positivity and become the better owner that you want to be, become the better leader that you want to be. And all I can do is I broke it down to 7 steps. I couldn't make it any more simple than what it was, but we're going to get into each and every one, and I want you guys to understand why each and every one is so important. And so we have, personal growth. That is the biggest one that I can tell you. That's something that you extremely have to really have to focus on. Vision planning is another one. Develop a system that works. Compartmentalize each part of your business. Follow through. Profitability and culture. So these are the 7 steps that I came up with, that I broke down for you guys, and we're going to go through each one. So what I'm going to do is, after I finish each one, I'm going to ask you guys if you have any questions. Like I said, just go ahead and put it in the chat bar, and I'll try to answer as fast as I can, and as much as I can before we move on to the next one. I want to make sure that you guys, get to bed on time, have your dinner, but grab your popcorn and relax for a little while, and then let's just kind of go through some of the stuff together. So first, we're going to start off with personal growth. Now, I went ahead, and because my writing kind of I'm a tech, right? So my writing kind of sucks. So I ended up pre-making all these slides for you. I'm not good like Aaron, where I can do this on the fly. So there's going to be paper all over my plate tonight. So many of you are stuck. So we have to ask yourselves, why are you stuck? These are 4 very, very easy, very simple things that can cause you guys to be stuck. Can everybody see this okay? Can you just give me a head shake? Okay, good. These are 4 very simple reasons why everyone can be stuck. You have gone through some sort of trauma, whether the trauma has been with a family member, whether the trauma has been from your upbringing, whether the trauma has been from something in your life that's caused a negative impact on you. Maybe it's your mindset. We're going to get into mindset and mind growth in a little while, but this is negative trauma. So we have positive trauma and we have negative trauma. Okay. We have positive trauma and we have negative trauma. So everything that we see here of why you're stuck, one of the reasons could be a negative trauma that you're facing in your life. There are some times that you don't ever overcome that, but there are some times that you have to overcome it. You have to put it to the wayside. You have to stop focusing on it or try to get through it. And instead of going around it, just to try to go through it, to get through whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish. Burnout. We've all been burned out. Many of you guys are burned out right now. You're suffering. You're not sure what to do next. You have a lack of direction. You don't know what to do next. You don't know the direction you're supposed to go. Depression. This is probably one of the biggest single things that I see a lot of shop owners deal with is depression. And there's nothing wrong with being ashamed to say that you deal with it. I used to I deal with it. I still deal with it. It's not nearly as bad as what it was, because I have learned how to compartmentalize it, and I have learned how to overcome it a lot faster and a lot easier than I used to. It used to take me down for days, sometimes a week or so, and it can definitely ruin your business, and it can definitely hurt you, and it can definitely create a negative impact on your business for you. What I want you guys to understand is that you need to believe in yourself more than anything. And I know that might sound corny, and that just might sound dumb. You're like, Jason, it doesn't even make any sense. Of course I believe in myself. Well, do you? And because I got to be honest with you, when we were going through the stuff that we were going through, I didn't really believe in myself very much. I didn't really have a lot of self-worth. I didn't feel like I was worthy. I didn't feel like I was smart enough. I didn't feel like I was good enough. And I also felt like there was no way out. Even if I went and got a job, even if you guys go and get a job, and you quit your business, you still have all this debt. You still have all this. It's literally easier for you to fix your business than it is for you to get out. That's the honest truth. Um, we have a saying in Shop Fix where you fix the owner, you fix the shop. These things that I'm talking to you about right here, they have nothing to do with sales. They have nothing to do with employees. They have nothing to do with your shop. They have everything to do with you, and they have everything to do with your mindset. So we're going to talk about your mindset, and we're going to talk about mind growth, because we want you to grow your mind and continue to grow and continue to prosper in this business to get yourself out of whatever it is that you're in right now, so you can have more abundance, so you can have whatever it is that you want, so you can create the life that you wanted to when you first opened up this business, right? You have to ask yourself too, why do others succeed before you? You know, I was worried about that. I was really having a hard time with that. And I was focusing more on others than I was focusing on myself. And so, and I want you to understand that I was not, I was focusing on what others were doing, and I couldn't reach them. I couldn't catch them. I couldn't understand how they were doing it. And I realized something, and this is really important. Well, what was happening was I was doing it wrong. So I was comparing myself to everyone else rather than comparing myself to myself. So I don't know if you can see this, it's because it's been on my wall for a while, but on my door in my office, it says, ask nothing from yourself but to be better than you were yesterday. And that's progress. So it doesn't matter if you take a little step forward or a little step sideways, you know, or 2 steps forward. As long as you are progressing, you are going to be in a better position than you were yesterday. And honestly, it sounds simple, right? It kind of is, the verbiage is simple, but getting through that is not simple at all. It's difficult. The easiest way that I can tell you to get through all of this is to mimic someone who's done it already. I didn't invent any of this stuff. I didn't invent the things that I'm doing in my stores. I just followed somebody and I just mimicked what they did. And then I started to see a change in myself, and I saw a change in my business. And that's when the transition and the transformation really started to take place. And it's not, like I said, it's not something that you're reinventing. You just have to be able to listen and want to listen. And there are a lot of people on Facebook and on these other places that are giving out really, really bad information, and they're actually putting you in a worse spot than what you're already in. And they're not people that actually should be giving information. And I'm sorry if I upset people with it, but it's the truth. And I don't want to, I want to let you guys know that there's a lot of bad information that's being taught out there. And I just want you guys to, just to understand, just be careful who you listen to. And, you know, and this is just like a lot of these guys that can't pay their own bills. They're the ones that are trying to help the most, and they need to look at themselves. So I will also tell you that it is way easier to try to fix someone else than it is to try to fix yourself. And you're the one that has to decide when you're going to fix yourself.
Ready to go?
So I told you earlier, we have 6 stores. I don't typically, I want you to understand, like, we can have 1 or 2 stores and be very comfortable where we're at and have a good lifestyle and things like that. But my idea of having more employees and more stores and more responsibility is I want to succeed from the pain, not for the gain. Not for the gain. So what I mean by saying I want to succeed from the pain and not from the gain is because the trauma that I experienced so long ago, I don't ever want to go back to that. And I want to get as far away from that as possible. And the only way that you're going to be able to do that is by literally taking and transforming yourself in your identity and who you are. And that's one thing that that's what I want to help you with tonight. And I want to give you the steps to be able to do that.
Mark Corbin? Yep.
Let me see if I can.
Hey, Jason.
Yeah.
If you want to make me the co-host, I can man the
does he?
mute button for you.
Yep. Okay, I just made it to you. Sorry. Thank you, Kyle.
Yeah. Leave the hose out of this. Yep.
All right. So I suffered through all of these. Like I said, every now and then we still go through it. It's not as bad as what it used to be. But I used to procrastinate a lot. I used to say that I was going to do a lot of things and I would never do them. And I'm telling you this because I bet a lot of you are sitting there right now saying, yeah, I do that now. Yeah, I don't do what I say I'm going to do. And that's where the change comes in, is when you actually admit that you need help, or that you actually admit that, yeah, I do say it, but I don't ever do it. I'm going to say something that probably, I don't know, maybe it's must spark some conversation, but you need to be a better business owner than you ever were a technician to be successful. And I was a pretty good technician, but I was a crappy business owner. I was horrible. And it wasn't because I didn't care, it was because I lacked knowledge. And once I got that knowledge, then I became a better business owner. Just like a technician goes and they get training. So do we, right? And one of the things that really is very kind of upsetting is owners, as owners, we're like, oh, woe is me and this and that. I can't. But you have a fiduciary responsibility to your employees that you hire who believe in you or who want to believe in you and who want to come to work every day for you and work their butts off for you. And they want to feed their families from the revenue that they generate with you. And there's some instances where it's like, it's not that important to you because we're so worried about feeling sorry for ourselves and the things that we're not doing. So I ask to stop giving me 15 reasons why you can't do something and give me one reason why you can do something. And that's kind of it in a nutshell.
Yes, sir.
There is a level of understanding that you all and I myself and everyone reaches, and that is called our capacity. And our capacity is our willingness to learn and our level at which we are learning currently. And what I mean by that is that in order for you to become a technician, you needed to get training. You needed to keep doing that same job over and over again. You needed to keep reading the books. You needed to keep going through everything. It's no different than a business owner. The problem is that we think because we're great technicians that we can be great business owners. But the one thing that separates us, the one big thing that separates us is our ego. And I will tell you that the faster you drop your ego and you have the willingness to want to learn, to absorb the information and try it, the faster that you'll succeed. So how do you get out of the funk? How do you get out of this funk that you're in? You have to look in the mirror and you have to admit that you need help. I had to admit that I didn't know what I was talking about. I had to admit that I didn't know what I was doing. I had to lose my ego. I had to lose the fact that I didn't know everything about running a business, but I could be a tech. But I also knew that I was hurting the most important people in my life. And so that right there caused me to lose my ego. And when I started doing better, I got it back again. And then I quickly got rid of it again because it was causing me to sabotage myself and sabotage my business. We don't appreciate ourselves enough. And I want you to know and to understand that you are appreciated. Your employees appreciate you, your family appreciates you, this industry appreciates you, and we appreciate you. And the thing is that we get tied down to all of these negative things, these negative thoughts, these negative issues going on. We forget that we're actually still really good people because we're so focused on the negative that we forget that we are really good parents. We are really good spouses. We are really good to our people. We are really good to our communities. And I just want to let you guys know that I want you to appreciate yourself and have an understanding that you deserve more. And I'm going to show you how to get that. How do you get out of this funk? You have to create a progressive plan. Sorry, it's asking me if I'm speaking Arabic. You have to create a progressive plan. If you create a plan, if you create a plan is going to get you as far as that plan will. If you create a progressive plan, that plan is going to move you forward. The reason why you create a progressive plan is because that plan has a date on it. There's not anything that I don't do in my stores that I don't ask my guys for a timeline on, because that's progressive, because there's an end date on it. Some guys will say, well, I'm going to get this done here. I'm going to get this done here. And 2 years later, they're still doing it. Why? Because there was no date on it. That is not a progressive plan. You need to educate yourself. Whether you think you know or you don't, you probably don't. But we have this saying is you don't know what you don't know, and there's nothing to be ashamed about. The idea that you're not educated and you don't have that proper education is not your fault. There are systems that you can get. There are networks that there's networking you can do. You can go visit shops, things like that. You can network with your fellow people on some of these groups, the good ones. Educate yourself. Celebrate your wins. I run into this a lot with my people is when they hit a milestone, they're like, oh yeah, it's kind of done. You know, it's over, you know, kind of like, let's move on. But they forget to celebrate. And I can tell you that if you celebrate your win, it will allow you and cause you to want to move forward even more. We don't celebrate our wins enough. We don't appreciate ourselves enough, and we don't celebrate our wins enough. And then number 6, and probably the most important one, is I used to say I was going to do things. And I used to say that I was going to get here and I was going to do this and we were going to have this. And the one thing that when I started to turn it around, the one thing that my wife and I had a discussion. She says, you know, stop telling me you're going to do all this stuff and just do it. And so I did. And I will tell you that that was probably one of the most impactful things that she's ever said to me that's created such a change in me, where talk is cheap and action is everything. So if you keep talking about the things that you're going to do, stop, just do it. Nobody cares if all you are doing is talking, because they know that all they're used to hearing from you is talk. But when they start to see action and they start to see the change in you, then that's when they're going to say, oh, he's moving forward. Things are happening here. I can see this going somewhere. But just understand, please, take action. Stop talking about it and just do it. So remember, I want you to admit it, lose the ego, admit you need the help. I want you to appreciate yourself. I want you to create a progressive plan. Please educate yourself, celebrate your wins, and then show them. Now we're going to talk about vision. I've had a lot of people tell me that they don't know how to create a vision. Well, vision is not, we don't have vision. It's not because we don't have the knowledge. It's because we don't have clarity. We don't have clarity. We don't have discipline. And I'm going to tell you, this is 100% true, because I never had this before. And then whenever I took and I figured out, when I created clarity and I created discipline, I created a vision and I created success. And this is what I do with every single thing that I do now. And we're going to get into discipline and clarity even deeper. But I want you to understand that if there's anything that you take away, there's a lot you should take away, but if there's anything you should take away from this, is if you want to go from 1 million to 5 million, from 5 million to 10 million, or from $200,000 to $1 million, you have to create a vision. In order to create a vision, you need clarity. In order to have clarity, you need to create a plan, and you need to have discipline, and you need to have the highest level of discipline. There is no going left or right. There is just straight zeroing in on that situation and whatever goal it is that you're looking to do. So how do you do that? How do you create a vision? You can do a 1, 3, or 5-year vision. Now, I will tell you, I am not a big fan of doing 10-year, 5 or 10-year visions, because I like to see and I like to accomplish what it is that we're doing right away. So I like to do a 1 year and I like to do a 3-year vision. That's just me personally. You need to write it down. You put a timeline on it. Look at that. The first thing I said is a timeline. There is a time frame on this right here. This is a time frame. You write it down. You have to write it down. We have a saying in our company that if it's not written down, it's not true. And my guys will tell you that. You need to have focus and you need to have discipline. Now, your focus needs to be an inch wide and a mile deep. What happens is that your focus, some of your focuses is like this. It's like, 2 feet wide and like ½ inch deep. And that's because you're all over the board. And I'm going to explain to you how to compartmentalize a lot of that in a little bit. But your focus needs to be an inch wide and a mile deep. That is the only thing that you are focusing on, is whatever vision that you are trying to create for your shop. It is the only way you're going to make it. You have to apply all of the energy to each task that you're trying to do. And what I want you guys to understand is I'm in these classes with you. I go through this stuff. This is what I do. This is not fluff. These are the exact steps that I take, the exact things that I do to get to where I'm at. And it's going to be the exact thing that I do to get me further to where I'm going. And I just want you to understand, it might sound cheesy and it might sound corny, some of it, but this is what you have to do. And I'm going to explain to you why you guys aren't able to do this in a little bit. Told you I had paper all over the place. Apply energy. Do not go back. Do not go back. Do not go backwards. All your steps toward your vision need to be progressive. You do not go backwards. You have, again, celebrate your wins. Celebrate your wins. There are times where you are going to run into situations where you're going to have to change your plan. You're going to have to change your initial plan on how you wanted to get there. But you don't have to change. You can change the plan, but you don't change the goal. The goal is the goal. This is the loneliest part right here. This is the loneliest part about business right here. Because nobody is going to understand why you're doing what you're doing but you. And the reason why is because you haven't shared this with anyone yet, because no one in your business trusts you to follow through with anything right now. You create a 1, 3, and a 5-year vision. You write it down. You focus and you have discipline on it. Your focus needs to be an inch wide and a mile deep. You apply all of that energy to each task, not all of them at once, each one. Do not go backwards. Do not take a step back. You are making forward progress. You need to celebrate your wins, even the tiniest wins. You can change the plan, but not the goal. Like I said, this is probably one of the loneliest spots in being in business. Before we go on, does anyone have any questions they want to type in or anything? I can give you a minute to do that. I'm going to grab a drink of water. and then we're gonna keep going. Okay. Compartmentalizing your business. Personal growth, ownership, marketing, financial, human resources, culture, training, recruiting, and systems. These are the 9 categories I came up with how to split your business up. You guys might find more, you guys might find less, but this is how I split my business up. What I want you to do is I want you to take and I want you to compartmentalize each portion of your business. Here's the reason why. We've all gone into, have you ever gone into a math class to take a test, and then the math teacher brings in the spelling teacher, and then they bring in the history teacher, then they bring in the sociology teacher, and so you have sociology, the English, the history, and then the math test all right there at the same time, right? You're not going to complete and pass every single test. You're just not. You have to compartmentalize it or spread it out. You can only accomplish one of those things at a time. Okay. Same thing with your business. Same thing with your business. What happens with your business is you have so much going on that you don't know where to start. Well, I always tell people to start with what's costing them either the most money or what's costing them the most pain. I usually start with the most money. When you take and you separate your business into these 9 categories: personal growth, ownership, marketing, human resources, training, financial, recruiting, systems, and culture. You allow yourself the opportunity to learn each one at a time, and not learning 5% of it, mastering it. This is the problem with a lot of shop owners, is when we are so bogged down and tied down to everything. You're trying to do all of these things at one time and you're not accomplishing anything. Well, actually you are. You're accomplishing 5% of it. You're accomplishing 5% of each thing. Don't do that. Focus on this one thing and then accomplish 100% of it. Master it. Get it out of the way, and then go here. And then do the same thing here. Boom. I can't tell you how much I wasted on marketing by listening to other people, by listening to my own vendors, and by listening and by not educating myself on marketing, by just going by the status quo. Once I learned how to market, once I learned and I mastered how I want to market my area and my shops, I marked this off, and then I went to the next one. You have to compartmentalize each avenue of your business. How did I learn my marketing? By educating myself. Through ShopFix Academy, there's over 800 videos that talk to you about marketing and all these other systems. And then I was learning from them, and I was also learning from networking with other shops, talking to other people to see what they were doing, talking to computer vendors to talk to them to see what they were doing, how they were doing it. Your network, you have to ask the conversation. You have to be in the room. One of the most powerful things that I can tell you that you can ever do is to be in a room with people you want to emulate and just listen. Just listen. Because you'll get more information out of that just by listening, and don't even say anything. That's where the power came from. So you have to separate this into whatever it is that you feel how you want to split your business up. But please stop doing each thing a little bit at a time. This is what's causing you a lot of pain.
Finished? Oh,
And I got to be honest, The only one that I would trust but verify, okay? So we all have vendors out there that we deal with. We all have places out there that we talk to, but if you educate yourself and you know what you're doing going into the conversation, then you're gonna know the outcome. Then you can set a strategy. I can't tell you how many times I was wasting money. A marketing company would say, "What do you want to do?" What do you mean what I want to do? I want to do what works. And so then right there, you know that you're not dealing with a professional marketing company. So just understand that you have to compartmentalize your business. You cannot do when you're educating yourself on your business. That's what I want you to understand. When you're trying to gain education, you've got to compartmentalize it and you've got to section it out. You cannot do everything at one time. It's like, all right. You cannot measure what you cannot manage. You must have an understanding of everything you do in your shop because it's either going to make you money or it's going to cost you money. I'm going to say that twice. You need to have an understanding of everything that's going on in your shop because it's either going to make you money or it's going to cost you money. But guess what? You're the owner. You get to decide that based on the level of action that you're willing to take. Okay. Your systems in your shop will change in proportion to the growth of your business. So what I did was this is a very horrible staircase. We like to use we call it like the front of the step and the back of the step. And this simulates you going from $0 to $1 million in revenue. And then you're going to go up a level. And then you're going to go from here from 1 million to 1.5. But what happens here, ladies and gentlemen, what happens here when you go up a level is you have to have an identity shift. You cannot take and run a $1.5 million shop the way you run a $1 million shop. You cannot run a $1.5 million shop the way you run a startup. Everything is going to change. I've had people say, well, I've got my systems in place, but I'm going to wait. I'm going to do this. I'm going to put this here. Who cares? Just put it where you feel it's going to be best right now and move on. Don't make it as hard as it needs to be, harder than it needs to be. Just throw it somewhere and then move on because it's going to change anyway. If you're going to grow your shop, you're going to grow your business. Most of the stuff that you have in place now isn't going to be there in 6 months anyway, maybe even 3 months. So don't get too caught up in that, but get caught up in every time you grow, you're going to have an identity shift. And that continues. You know, there's definitely no way that some of the guys that are on this call right now, there's no way that they're the same owners that they were when they were doing $1 million. There's no way that I'm the same owner when I was doing $1 million in revenue. There's no way. I don't even know that person anymore. But I certainly never want to go back to that person. And how do you create an identity shift? You create an identity shift by educating yourself on taking forward steps of growing your business and creating this progressive plan that we're talking about. It's it. And following through with it. That's the bigger thing. You have to do it. And you have to put a timeline on it. So you go from 2.5 million to 3 million, then 3 million to 4 million, and then you keep going. What do you get? What do you get to create? You get to create abundance. Now, there are people that say, I want to be successful. There are people that say, I want money. There are people that say, I want time. Well, I think abundance covers all of that. So it doesn't matter what it is that you're looking for. The idea is that if you do this, you will get there. It's guaranteed. I'm a specimen of the training that I got, and it got me from here to here. Here's what happens to a lot of people is they get here, and this happened to me. We got right here, and then my ego kicked in, And then, boom, I fell right back down. I fell down the step. I fell back down. I stopped training. I stopped going to meetings. I knew better, and I fell back down the ladder. So then I got back up again, came back up. And I'm gonna tell you, this is a day in and day out fight. This is something that never ends. This is something that is just part of your identity as being a business owner. So we have a saying in our company, my district manager and I, if everything is running fine, just wait 10 minutes. And it's really hysterical because we'll sit there and tap our hands on the desk, waiting for the next thing to go wrong or waiting for the next thing to happen. But what we do is we really pride ourselves on fixing problems very fast so they don't get out of hand and they cost us as least amount of money as possible. But if you do this, if you can create and change your identity as you continue to grow your business, you will create abundance, which will give you money, which will give you time, which will give you freedom, and it'll give you whatever it is that you want. It's for real. What's going to happen is, and this is where some of you guys fall into this situation, where you're here, and you're about to go here. And then your systems start to break, like literally start to break halfway through. And then you start to sabotage yourself because you're stuck. You're literally bouncing off the rev limiter. You can't get any higher. Well, what's happening is that your systems are failing because you don't have the right system. You don't have a $2 million shops. You don't have systems for a $2 million shop. You got systems for $1 million shop. And what I mean by that is that goes along with your parts vendors. You know how many times I've had my parts vendors in my office saying, you cannot service us the same way. I need a truck. I need better service. I need this. I need this. And if you're not going to give it to me, there's 3 other guys outside that are waiting to talk to. They're here to service you, like we are here to service our customers. We are here to add value and to create value to give our customers the best service that we possibly can. And also do it as quick as we possibly can. So when you get your vendors on board, you will have no problem hitting that number. But what happens is that the vendors are the last people you talk to. You talk to them about price. I don't care about price. The price, I can call back and I can renegotiate my parts. I can get parts anywhere. I want the speed of service. The lack of service and the poor service cost me more money than the price you're charging me for the part anyway. So I want the speed of service. We get reports from some of our parts vendors, the ones that actually have it, on the time of each delivery. And if it's more than 20 minutes, I think it's 20 minutes that we have it set down, then we have a meeting about it. Well, I don't, my district manager does, but we are very, 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 very adamant about speed of service here. Some things that you guys, some things that are happening right now that I see, a lot of you guys are being held hostage by your employees. I see a lot of times where you are throwing money at these guys, where you are giving them more money than you can afford. Some of them are making more money than you in your business, and I think that's just wrong. And I think that it is not a technician issue, it is a leadership issue in your business. And it's your fault, like it was my fault. I can honestly tell you that you are the ones that started your business. You are the reason why people come to your business. And I don't care if you lose your best employee tomorrow, you're still going to be in business. It might suck for a while till you find somebody. You might have to replace 2 people to replace that one person, but it is your business. It is your dream that you started to become a business owner. It is your money that you put out there. It is your social security number that's tied to everything. Not the tech you just gave $60 a flat rate hour to. Yours. So, and you're going to be able to accommodate that technician if you do these next couple steps. One of the big things is following through. I can't say it enough. is to follow through. The other thing that I'll tell you is you attract who you are, not what you want. And that might not be a very good statement for some of you people that might not understand that. I had a shop owner, friend of mine that said, he was a Mercedes tech, and he opened up a two-bay shop, and he says, I'm gonna hire a Mercedes master tech. And I said, okay, how are you gonna do that? Well, I'm just gonna apply. I'm gonna send out a resume thing, and he's gonna apply. This was when he first started in business. He's much more humble now. And he says, I want to hire him. That's who I'm gonna go after, a Mercedes tech. And I said, well, let me ask you a question. I said, you were a Mercedes tech, right? He's like, yeah. I said, would you work for you in your shop right now? He's like, hell no. I said, well, then how can you expect him to? And it was really pretty eye-opening for him, because this is the honest truth. You do attract who you are, not what you want. You can want that Mercedes tech all day long, but you're not there yet to handle that guy. That guy will probably run circles around you as a new business owner. You have to be in control and in command of your business to be able to control it. If you hire a tech that has a stronger personality than you, if you have a weak personality, a weak leader personality, he's going to run all over you. That's why you're paying out way more money than what you should be, is because you're not in control of your business. Your technicians are. Guys, leadership is influence. Leadership is influence. Leadership is also based off of trust. The employee will trust the leader before they trust the vision. Does that make sense? The leader, the employee has to trust the leader before they will be bought into the vision, before they trust the vision. So if they don't even trust you as the owner, how do you expect to do all of this stuff that we're just talking about tonight and be able to get through to them? You're not, because it all starts with you, just like it all started with me. And it all starts with everyone here on this phone call. I am a big, I'm a big proponent of having a number two in your business. I don't know that if anyone's ever mentioned it before, but I think that if you can get one guy when you start, or when you're going through your growth phase and you're trying to build your business, that you take that one guy and he is so bought into your vision, he is so bought into what you're trying to accomplish, that it is no holds barred. I am here, ready. Let's do it. Let's go for it. What happens is that technicians talk to their owners differently than they talk to their fellow employees. So if I have a technician that is my number two guy in my business, or even a manager, that technician's going to talk to him differently than they're going to talk to me. They're not going to say the kinds of things that they want to in front of me. They're going to sugarcoat everything. But to these guys, they're going to tell everything to. So you can have yourself and not have a number two in your business to help carry your vision. But I highly recommend it. And I don't know that you might ask yourself, well, I don't have that guy. Then find him. And ask yourself tonight, like, would I hire back all my employees? If you fired every single one of your employees today, would you hire them all back? It took me a long time to finally get people that I would hire everyone back, realistically. And I'm being honest. But I definitely would hire every single person that I have back. But it took a long time to get there. And it took a long time of building a culture and building leadership and creating influence for these guys. So one thing that I did, one thing that I learned to do with trying to do this trying to create leadership with these guys is I tried to take their pain away. I tried to help them with certain things in their life, try to help them and talk to them, not necessarily as a friend, but just as someone that maybe they didn't get to have those conversations with, someone that they could trust. Leadership is built off of trust, right? It's built off of trust, it's influence. So I want these guys to trust me because they work for us and I don't want them going anywhere else. So I want them to learn to trust me. But I can tell you, and you can tell your employees this, and you can understand this as well. Guys, I can help you from 8 to 5, but I can't help you from 6 to 7. So I can help you in your work life and I can take all the pain away from you in your work life, but I can't help you after you leave my shop. And sometimes that's where people struggle. We'll get into that in a second. When you talk about culture, you talk about having a number 2 in your business. Here's how this works. So I don't know, I'm here, you know, I just showed up, but here's my number 2. Who did I influence in the business? I influenced one person in the business. He influenced every single other employee in my business. He carried the culture. He carried the vision. He carried the ideas of where we're going and what we're doing. Why did he do that? Because these guys are going to sugarcoat every conversation for me. Yes, boss. Yes, sir. No problem. Yes, absolutely. Fantastic. We'll do it. No problem. But to have a person that is their level do this and not me, this was a game changer. I also believe, like I said back here, you attract who you are, not what you want. I also believe that you can take this and you can literally recruit and hire better by having a stronger vision, a stronger path, a stronger area, a stronger path to go on, a stronger direction, everything. I'm a big believer in the law of attraction. I believe that when you get to a certain point, you can attract better people. I just get it. I understand it. It happens. So you have to be attentive about it. You have to have intention. You have to take action. And when you take action, then that's what creates the attraction. They have the law of intention, the law of action, the law of attraction. It's what happens. I could not have these guys here today if the vision and the direction that we were going was not being magnified through each and every person and spread out through 6 stores. Couldn't do it. It's too much for me. So people ask us all the time about our culture. We do have a really good culture. I'm very proud of our culture. I like the fact that the guys are not afraid to wear their work shirts to the store. You know, they go out. They're not ashamed to work here. And the reason why they're not ashamed to work here, people have asked us all the time. They're like, "How come? Why do you have such a great culture?" And I said, "It's a culmination of a lot of things. It's not just one thing, because I do what I say I'm going to do. That's probably the biggest thing." Did I do that a long time ago? No, I didn't. So if you want to have a strong culture, do what you say. Do what you say. That's going to seriously help you out a lot. Give me 1 second. All right. A lot of you guys are having trouble being profitable. The simple game to profitability is you have to spend less money. You have to spend less money than you make, duh. I don't want to confuse you on that. I tried borrowing my way out of debt, and it got me further in debt. I would charge off of emotions, and it got me further in debt. Your employees are going to come to you every Friday, every other Friday, whatever your payday is, and they're going to ask for their paycheck. They don't care about this, and they don't care about this. What they care about is that you were profitable and that you supplied them with a paycheck for a service that they provided for them working in your shop for this period of time that they earned. I can't tell you how many shop owners I've been into where they do $200,000 a month and then have absolutely nothing to show for it. Because it's riddled through paying back debt that they shouldn't even have. And it's because they're not set up right and they don't understand about how to be profitable and how to charge correctly, because a lot of what they're doing is they're charging off of emotion. As a technician, if a fuel pump paid 4 hours and I knew I could get it done in 2 or hour and a half, I used to charge that. Well, I don't do that anymore, you know? There are a lot of things that go along with this being profitable, but the one thing is that you cannot borrow your way out of debt. If you are in debt right now, you need to stop everything that you're doing and go sit down and go through all of your bank statements, everything, and try to figure out where you can cut costs. Are your parts costs too high? Are you paying too much labor because you got to pay this technician a salary now? Do you have a profit and loss statement? You know, we run our businesses off of our profit and loss statement. I did not do that before. You know, it took a long time, but I can tell you that I run my business off of the profit and loss statement. Now, because I do that, I know how much money I can spend on marketing. I know how much money I can spend on everything else because everything is in line with each other. So if you're throwing good money after bad and you don't know and you're shotgunning your marketing, you're shotgunning any kind of other expenses that you have, you're wasting money. So if you don't have a profit and loss statement set up, you need to get one. That is the first thing I'd probably tell you to do. You have to get in control of your business. So you're going to wake up tomorrow and you're going to say, is my business controlling me or am I controlling it? I really hope that you can control your business or learn to control your business. But it's not all about the technicians. It's just not. There are everything that I talked about. Technicians was a little bit of it. There are so many more facets of this business that we talked about tonight that have way more to do with than hiring technicians. And I have technicians. I'm not saying that they might be more expensive. I'm not saying that they might be harder to find, but I'm saying that that's not your entire problem. The problem is us. The problem is you. And until you're willing to accept that and to do these steps and to do this training in order to overcome those problems, then you're just going to stay stuck. My intention here is to actually try to guide you and to try to influence you to get the help that you need to be better. And also to do the things that I have done to get us to where we're at. Like I said, I didn't invent this. I didn't do anything. I just listened and I just educated myself. I did become a better business owner than I ever was a technician. I did all that. Everything that we talked about this evening are things that I have done. I have not pulled any fluff. I have not made any of this up. This is all the pain and this is all the steps that I took to get to where I'm at. And I don't really know what else I could say other than the fact that taking action is going to be your best step and your most progressive step is to not wait for tomorrow and just to do it now. And if you have a lot of problems and you have a lot of things you're not sure what to do with, then sit down and make a list. There is I'm gonna put in a chat bar. If any of you guys want to schedule a call with us, you can schedule a call with us. We can help you out as much as we can over the phone call. But I want you to understand that there is a lot more training, and this is just the tip of the iceberg. There's a lot more stuff out there, and you know, the people that I surround myself with, the network that I have through Shop Fix Academy and through the entire industry alone, even people that are not in Shop Fix Academy, they're just amazing people, and we want to help. We want to help. There are people that genuinely want to help, and you just have to be humble enough to ask for it, and there's no shame in that. Let me see if you guys have any questions. I don't know if you guys have any questions or not. Okay, I'm gonna put this, give me 1 second, please. I'm gonna put this, if you guys have any.
I'll stop muting people temporarily if you have questions.
Yeah, if you have questions, go ahead.
Jason, at what point did it all start to click?
When did it start to click for me was when I started re-engaging. Well, when it started to click initially was when after I paid off all that debt within the first 90 days. Then I knew, holy cow, this stuff works. But then I got to a certain level and then I sabotaged myself and then I took a step back because I got disengaged. But then when I re-engaged, it just took off from there. And then I never disengaged ever again. So the first time it was literally taking the things that I applied. So it was, well, it was the first month. I was told we were averaging $60,000 a month, and I was told that I had to average $84,000 a month in order to get out of this. I said that was probably our best month ever, and Aaron's like, "Well, you just have to do it." So I did, and I don't know how we just did it. I focused in on it. It was laser focus. I was disciplined about it because I knew it was do or die. I was in such turmoil. There was nothing else for me to do but to do it. So my back was against the wall. I was in survival mode, and that's kind of how it happened, honestly.
Well, you know the position I'm in, because I'm in your tribe. You know, I've paid off the debt. How? Give me some tips on how to not get disengaged or overconfident.
It's easy to, right? When you pay off all that stuff.
Yeah, it's nice having the money.
Yeah. Um, you have to continue to educate yourself and understand that there is always another level. So when you start seeing, you're like, hey man, I've got this or I've got this. But ask yourself, like compare yourself, like look at other people and say, what are they doing? And then when you start emulating those people, um, then what'll happen is then you'll say, man, I really need to do this. And I think, yep, there's a link. Okay, I put the link in there if you want to schedule a call with us or anybody. Um, but that's pretty much it. I mean, honestly, if you take and you have to stay focused on it. So what happened was your back was against the wall. You were in pain. You were in survival mode. Now you got rid of that pain. And now you have to use that for the good, and you have to say, okay, I have a second chance. Now what can I do to move forward and to grow my business? And in a good way, right? So that would be creating better systems. That would be, putting better employees in there, investing in yourself, more marketing, things like that. There's all kinds of different, becoming a business owner, learning more strategies and things like that. But staying engaged, that's a huge thing.
Thank you.
Jason, I got a question. What did you do marketing wise to ramp up your shops? And what do you think about postcard marketing? What's been your experience on what kind of return you get from that?
So my biggest, I really hate paying for direct mail, but I'm a big fan of it just because it's a bill, right? But we get a really good return rate off of, I don't know the numbers off the top of my head, but so with 6 stores, we probably send out about 50 or 60,000 mailers a month between all the stores. We get a really good return rate off of them. It is not something that I will ever stop doing. I believe that as you continue to grow and you continue to have a consistent marketing strategy, then you're going to consistently get higher returns. So right now, our stores are between 15 and 30% increase in car count from last year. So then we need to take and maximize those shops to be able to accommodate that level of marketing that we're getting a return off of now. But AdWords, SEO, and direct mail definitely a way to go. And that's what we utilize. We do a lot of community things too that help us within the community, and we give away cars, we give away free. I got dog toys. I made it. I got dog toys, right? So, so we do a lot with that too. So, anybody else have any questions? Okay.
Can I
Well,
ask what kind of call to action do you have on your postcard mailers?
Well, we run oil change specials. We have dollar off specials. We run seasonal specials like AC specials and things like that.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm. Brandon, you had, hang on one second. Brandon, you had said, I have more work than techs, trying to get hire more techs. Here's what I'm gonna tell you is, like, I would have people all the time tell me that they can't hire techs, and I said, well, how much time are you spending a week looking for techs? And maybe a half hour, maybe now. The amount of work, the amount of time you put into something is equal to the result that you're going to get out of it. And so about a month ago, I was down 3 techs. So I literally spent 15 hours in 1 week recruiting, and I spent 10 the next week recruiting. We ended up hiring 4. And so the amount of time you spend doing something, and you just have to look harder and you have to look longer now because of the situation that's out there. So I just want you to understand that if you focus on that, like make that be your one thing, your recruiting thing, focus on that, spend all your energy on that, and then you will find somebody. They are out there. You just have to be able to spend that amount of time to be able to get in there and find the right guy. So, okay. What is an example of the mindset change you went through, growing from a 1 million to a 2 million a year? I had to have confidence in myself. I had to have more confidence in myself than anyone else. And honestly, all I would do would go back and say, man, I did, this is how I got to this point. So I just need to duplicate that to get to this point. And so when we opened up our second store, that's what we did. And then we just started duplicating. And just so you guys know, like, this is 2024. I have opened up 5 shops in the last 4 years. I opened up 2 shops this year. And so we built a model to go in and systems to go in and literally take over a shop right now. Yeah. And the reasoning behind that is because I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel. All I'm trying to do is duplicate what we already have. And that's where the strategy comes in. That's where that's where the culture comes in. That's where the guys come in. That's where the buy-in comes in and the vision. Because our vision was to take over the area. Yeah. Yeah. What are some ways to let your ego? Some ways to let your ego focus on guys that are doing that you want to emulate. If you can find someone that is, it doesn't have to be revenue based. It can be just maybe you've got somebody that you're like, man, this guy's got a great car. This guy's got this. He's got this. Find somebody and just take and try to emulate them, but be humble about it. You know, like listen to learn, don't listen to respond, right? And that's the reason why a lot of us we have these egos because we already know the answers. So when you're willing to actually absorb the information that they're giving you, they're going to give you more information. But when you take and you talk, they talk to you and you automatically have a response mechanism built into yourself, that's ego. And then they're just going to stop talking to you. I've had it happen a few times to me where people that can't pay their bills, they're doing 500 grand a year and they're trying to tell me how I'm going to run my business. And I tell them something to try to offer them help and they have a direct response from me. And then I have to, politely say, okay, yeah, you're right. I'm not going to argue with you, but I also have to be careful of my time. So I'll do anything for anybody and help anybody, but you have to be willing to listen and you have to be willing to listen to learn and to not respond. All right, let's see who else. What was that last one here? We are 1 year plus with new business, small town, 2 owners, techs, spouse fronts front. We're starting at times to get more work. Oh, I need an assistant on this. Kyle, you've done a great job, by the way. Shoot, what the heck? Oh, here we go. Sorry, guys.
Jason,
Yeah.
what was the motivation to not let you give up?
I have a beautiful family at home. I have that were counting on me. I have a wife that always believed in me. until I gave her every reason to not. I have had two beautiful daughters that they were 5 months. One was 5 months, the other was 2.5. Whenever we opened up the business, we named a business after them. It's their legacy. And that was my drive. And I wanted to also create a better life that I had for my family because when I grew up, because we didn't have anything. So it was just a driving force. My daughters are 19 and 17 now, and they have a life that a lot of people can only dream of. They're good, but we went through times where we made our own Christmas gifts. We went through times where they got one pair of shoes. We spent $40 a week on groceries. We had one car for 4 years. That's how bad things were. We would buy our clothes at a secondhand shop. We still do sometimes. The girls still go there and do that. And there's nothing wrong with that. But those are the things that we did. We buckled down to get through. And so that was the driving force, was not, that's why I say I want to succeed from pain, not for gain, because I just don't ever want to go back there again. I sleep much better at night. I can help give back to the community. I can help give. I've traveled to other shops to help them. I've volunteered a lot more. I've been able to give back a lot more. We've been able to help donate a lot more. So it's just an overall better feeling and a better lifestyle. And that's my abundance. That's what my abundance is. But how I got there was just knowing that I couldn't let them down. I had to figure something out.
That's awesome, brother. That's powerful. Thank you.
To get more, we can. Yeah. So anytime so here's what I will tell you guys too, is I want you to make sure that you have maxed out all of your systems and your processes in your shop before you think you need another technician. There are some shops that will tell me, "Oh, I need another tech." But what's happening is that they don't need another tech. They need to change their processes. So you might need to change how you take a customer in. You may need to change how a technician writes up a vehicle. There are internal things that you can fix to maximize the technicians that you already have, rather than just going out and finding more people. I like to maximize and try to figure out, okay, how can I squeeze more out of this, right? Rather than going and adding another tech. Yes, technicians are free if they're flat rate and they're hustlers, but why add them if you don't need to? And what's going to happen is you're going to bring in another tech. Your processes and efficiencies are going to be the same. And then that technician is going to break them because he's going to need more to keep him busy. And then you're going to have to change your processes anyway. So why not just maximize what you have already and make sure that that's where your problem is, and it's not in actually needing a technician. So I would challenge a lot of people on that, actually. So how did I learn my leadership skills? I'm a very big John Maxwell fan. He is like, I have really learned a lot from him, and I read all his books. I just look for a lot of leadership stuff regardless. But the leadership thing that you have to really be understanding about is when you become a true leader, you are a servant leader. And leaders give to gain. And when you understand that you're going to take a hit for this, but it's going to come back to you tenfold, then that's going to allow you to become an even better leader than you already are. And there are people that think they're leaders, but they're not leaders. They're positional leaders. And positional leaders are leaders that are assigned a position, like a management position, a general manager position, something that they did not earn. And they have no respect or earn no respect from the people in the back or from their fellow peers. So I do not like positional leadership. I think that leadership is earned. I don't think it's given. When my district manager started with us, I told him for the first month, I don't want you doing anything. I don't want to talk to you about anything. I want you to go and I want you to meet every single employee, and I want you to build a relationship with them and find out what makes them tick. Because until they learn to trust him, they're going to think he's a positional leader. Right? So they learn to trust him because what? Leadership is trust. Leadership is influence. Now he's earned their trust. Now he can influence them. Sorry, I'm kind of skipping around. Yes, compartmentalizing when small shop trying to grow but are pulled in every direction, time to hire more people. You have to just focus on one thing. That's it. Just take one thing and like I said, I always find it's either the thing that's costing you the most amount of money or the most amount of pain. And I'm not asking you to take multiple things. I'm asking you to take progressive steps to fix one of those items. And yeah, it's hard. It's hard. This is not for the faint of heart. And this business does not stop. It does not end. It doesn't get any easier unless you're willing and ready to allow it to be easier for yourself. And what I mean by that is you need to start leading from the top down. And your business needs to be, you have to have what we call top-down leadership, where your shop is led from the top down, not from the bottom up. Remember I talked about a little while ago about technicians running your business, you having to pay them more, you're hostage to them. That is bottom-up leadership. That is where you take the lowest level employee and he's controlling what's happening in your store. You need to take and create a top-down leadership position for yourself, be in control of your company, be in control of your people, because like I said, they can all go get jobs tomorrow, but you're still stuck here doing everything. Yeah, you gotta man up. One of the things that was actually a real big change in my life was when Aaron told me, he's like, when are you gonna stop making when are you gonna stop making your wife cry and start making your employees cry? And that was a big moment for me. Stop charging off emotions, stop spending money based on how you feel, use facts, for example, get another tech. Yeah, exactly. So if you have a good P&L and you have good numbers, you'll know when you need to hire someone. If you have a good P&L, you'll know when you can market more. You know when you can grow your shops more. I did a class last week on growing your shop with using your profit and loss statement. The numbers are right there. You're not searching through 10 pieces of paper looking for the bank statement, going through and figure out how much you spent on marketing. You're going to have to pay for the service if you want to continue to grow your business. And the better numbers you have, the more you're going to be able to grow your business and the more control you're going to be able to have in your business. If one of your technicians, ask yourself this, if somebody walked into your office tomorrow and said they wanted a raise, could you afford to give it to them without looking at your numbers? Would you know that are you able to give it to them by looking at your numbers? So what I mean by that is if someone come into my shop or come into my office and they wanted a raise, I would have to say, well, this is where our numbers are at, blah, blah, blah. Could I afford to give this guy another raise? But when you have employees that hold us hostage, they're coming in and telling you what you're going to give them. And you might not be able to afford it. How can you know if you can afford it or not? Have good numbers. Be in control of your business. Exactly. Yeah, not when you need one. Yeah.
Hey, Jason, can I ask a question?
Of course.
Okay, so one of my question is I'm struggling with parts vendors, as I'm far enough out of the city where I'll get like there's like 3 runs a day, and I'm dealing with a vendor that is oh so fun. And that vendor is basically, it's to the point where, if I order something that says it's supposed to be here at noon, and I give a call at 12:30, hey, where is it? Is it supposed to be? Is it showing up? Yada yada yada. Doesn't show up. Oh, it'll be on the the 12:30 or the 2:31. Okay, it misses the 2:30, and it's like it keeps backing up. But and I've tried, and I have a like factory motor now and stuff like that, but there's just some of the things that company provides you can't get from factory. Like there's not a good replacement for it. But at the same point too, like you said, I'm losing out. I'm pissing off customers because, hey, I say I'm going to get it done today. The parts people don't follow through with their end of the bargain of, hey, it's supposed to be here at noon. It's going to be here at noon. It's not at noon. How do you how do you basically call and chew them out, but at the same point, you know, like how do you? I guess I don't know how to handle that aspect because I've called and told them, I said, hey, this is, you guys are, in my opinion, absolutely unacceptable. But they, you know, it's kind of those golden handcuffs. They know that they're the top dog in the area. So they're kind of, I don't know if they're just, you know, whatever, I don't care, you know, it doesn't matter to me or what, you know. I guess I don't know that.
Yeah. So how, if you don't mind me asking, how much revenue do you do a month?
Not a lot. I do about 30K.
Okay, no, that's fine. That's a lot. Don't think that. It's a lot. It's good. So are you talking to the delivery people or are you talking, who are you talking to at the place? You talking to the manager?
So the store manager is the one that I've talked to. Because
Okay.
I know delivery guys, that's just, you're just bitching to bitch at that point, you know. That's not going to do anything.
So I would go over his head
Okay.
and I would keep going up the ladder until you find somebody that's willing to talk to you. Because here's the thing. Wait, uh, I'm gonna give you you're going to do $100,000 in a month. Your shop is. You're going to get there. And here's how I handled it. I went through the same thing when I started. How long you been in business, Jared?
2 years.
Okay, perfect. So here's what happened. I started out, I was spending about $3 grand a month with a parts store. They treated me like garbage. They didn't care. They got to me when they wanted to. I had the manager come to the DM, or he was the store manager. He comes down and I said, look, I said, I know that I am a small fry to you right now. I said, I know I am. But I said, in a few years, I said, I'm only spending $3 grand a month. I said, but I know in a few years, or maybe in a couple years or whatever, I'm going to be spending $10,000, $15,000 a month. I need you to service me better now so I can stick with you when I get bigger. And if you invest in me, I will invest in you. And
Right.
he didn't do it. Okay. So he didn't do it. And I left him. And the only way that I ended up going like meeting him again was he went to go work with another parts company. So in that respect, it did not work out on my end. And I didn't really care because I had others to choose from. You don't have others. So what I'm saying is you don't necessarily have others to choose from. So you're going to have to go up that ladder until you find somebody that's going to help you. And you will find a district manager or someone higher up that's going to be like, this is not right. This is not how we should service our customers. And this is not what we're about. And if you go,
So then how would you, I don't know, you just talk to the manager and tell him, hey, I want the number to the district manager, you know, because I mean, and obviously you're going to find out. It's not the fact that I'm afraid of him finding out. It's just, I mean, that's about the only way.
Or I would have him come to the store. I'd have him come to your store. I like face to face. This is why the Zoom is giving me anxiety because I like face to face conversations. So I'd have him come to the store and I would sit him down and say, look, I'm not happy with the service. This is the problem. This is the problem. I really don't know what has to happen, but I really need you to fix this. And if you don't fix it, then I'm going to go above your head. And I don't want to do that. I'm trying to fix this relationship right now with you. And you don't even need to ask for his number now. Like I'm sure you can get it some other way, some other how maybe, but I really wouldn't. I would just say, look, I just want to be serviced. I want to get my parts. You're upsetting my customers because I can't give them a time frame because there's no
Guarantee we don't show up.
Yeah, there's no speed of service, right? So give me a reason. Give me something that I can tell my customers and saying that you're going to guarantee me my parts time. You know, have that conversation with them, put them on, you know, what can I do different? You know, ask him, what can I do different? What can I do? And he's going to say nothing. And I said, well, you need to do something. Some change has to be made and it's either going to be me or you. And I'm asking you for your help to solve this problem.
Yeah,
So,
your outside sales rep is probably the best person to talk to. He'll handle all that. You should have an outside sales rep.
We've tried with our parts vendor, and we spend about 15,000 a month. And when we call to complain, we get passed from the store manager to the front counter manager to the district manager, and nothing ever changes. And we're spending $15,000 a month. We're the ones keeping this one parts store in business, and they don't want to change nothing, but they're the best price in town and the best warranty.
Well, let me ask you a question. If they have the best price in town, then how much money are you losing? And it's actually costing you more money by not being able to get your parts in a timely manner. So I would question that. So, that's what I would, if you can switch up, if you are in that spot where you need to switch up, it's actually costing you more money than it would be if you paid a little bit more for that part.
When we do call it a complaint because the part didn't show up or whatever, it gets blamed on either the hub driver didn't show up or it didn't get put on the truck or
Yeah.
they just sit there and do the business.
Yeah, we can talk about parts stuff all day long, but I would just move up the ladder, bud, and try to talk to somebody higher up than him. And then, that's the direction I would go. So, can we progress? Can we progress in your presentation? Hold questions for later. Oh, yeah, I'm done, guys. I don't know if you guys have any other questions or anything. I just,
To the gentleman that was having trouble with the parts not showing up, and being able to, keep those completion times. I don't know if he saw the comment that I wrote, but let's not promise completion times. Make sure you just promise an update time. It's Jared, right? Was it
Yes,
Jared? Yeah. So, I don't know if you're probably the advisor. Make sure that you're just promising, hey, I'll call you at 3 o'clock. I ordered the part. As soon as I have an update for you, I'll call you, or keep it on those lines. That way you're not promising, hey, I'll get your car done today. You're not telling them something that you can't keep. But you can absolutely keep a promise to an update, because even if it's a no news update, you're still doing exactly what you said. And that's what you want to make sure you do. When I learned that as an advisor, that was a game changer, because you're not telling them it's going to be done. You can't ever, because you don't know what's going to happen. I mean, you may be doing the most basic water pump on a Tahoe and it breaks all 4 bolts holding the thing on. You don't know that until you get in there. It's very rare, but it could happen.
yeah, I get you.
Just make sure you stay on that, because that's a huge help right there.
yeah, thanks, Ted.
Yep.
Good. So yeah, basically, my presentation is done. If you guys have questions, I really appreciate your time coming on here. I'll stick around for some questions after. But if you do want to book a call with ShopFix, there is the link here that they can walk you through some of the processes that we have and help you out a little bit. And but like I said, guys, this is just something that I've learned over time, and I had to learn it through ShopFix, and I've had to keep applying it and reapplying it, but it's allowed us to be successful and create a great life for us. So, just keep pushing, please. If you you're feeling stuck or anything like that, you're more than welcome to message me on Facebook, and we can message back and forth or whatever. But hopefully, this brought you guys some value, and I appreciate your time, and thank you guys for showing up. So, have a great evening.